Did you see that Elon was on a call with Trump, with the Serbian president? Bro, all of that is just crazy, but nobody seems to care. Like, I don't know what to say. It's just wacky and crazy and wild. Like, oh, there's a, just click that link in chat. You can see, you can watch the guy explain it. I linked it again.
Okay.
That's wild.
Homeowner defends property. Trespasser who said she was pregnant. A California homeowner decided to take the law into his own hands. A pregnant lady who tried to burglarize his home late Tuesday night.
I'm guessing there's no way I can let them see, right?
No, tell them to use, stop, pause. Tell them to use their imagination. I listen to a ton of talk radio. Close your eyes.
Okay.
People do it, okay? They can look at your beautiful face.
These guys can't do that.
Just tell them to listen. Tell them to imagine, okay? Don't be so
At his upscale Long Beach home, only to find an unfamiliar trespassing couple ambush him. Greer saw a man and a woman in her 20s ransacking his safe, pulling out thousands of dollars in cash. The couple misjudged him. The 80-year-old reached out and grabbed his .22 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver. Greer says when the couple saw him standing with his gun, they took off for the back door and he chased after them, firing off rounds. The man escaped through a back alley. That's where Greer says the woman shouted at him saying that she's pregnant. He fired 2 shots, killing her instantly. Greer says he wanted to leave a message for her partner to haunt him for the rest of his life. Police are investigating and haven't yet arrested Greer or anyone else.
Okay, no. You need to find him talking about the event because that's the real unhinged shit.
This is the video you gave me, right?
I don't know.
Where's him talking about the event?
I thought what did I link in chat? I clicked one in chat and it was the guy talking about it.
Oh. Pretty sure this is the one you sent.
Well, then I'm a fucking retard and you should ban me from chat for linking a shit video.
Someone else. Reenact it. Bro, she's begging for her life and he's just like bang bang.
No. It's worse. You need the video of him explaining it. You should just Google it. Chat sucks. Google it. Man explains self-defense shoot old man. Or maybe click pack me man.
Wait. Someone's got it. This person's got it. I believe.
Is sparking a lot of debate on social media right now, and you'll understand why. A Long Beach, California homeowner says he has no regrets after shooting and killing an unarmed woman who said she was pregnant. This after he got into a confrontation with her and another man who were ransacking his home.
When the time comes to defend yourself, you best do something.
The words of the 80-year-old homeowner who confronted 2 robbers.
I walked in on them, and they downed me. They jumped on me in the hallway.
But Tom Greer says he managed to get his .22 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver. He says when that unarmed couple saw his gun, they took off out the back door, and he followed.
The lady didn't run fast as a man, so I shot her in the back twice. She's dead, and they told her off, but he got away. She says, "Don't shoot me, I'm pregnant, I'm with a baby," and I shot her anyway.
And since then, there has been a swift and almost split reaction on social media.
And the jury found this guy not guilty.
I
acquitted this guy.
believe so, yeah. He either didn't even go to court or the jury found him, yeah. But there's also, there was also that, oh fuck, I hope Abba's not here. This brings out all the disagreeers. First of all, I'm a big self-defense guy.
Yeah.
Right? I think the DDoS kid, I still stand by that. Okay? I'm a big self-defense guy. The mall shooting from the one guy, though, that was crazy. Have you seen the guy that shoots the 2 guys harassing him in the mall?
In the mall, no.
Look for YouTube.
While some say they would...
Look for like DoorDash self-defense shooting mall. This is wild to me.
This one.
Nope. It's that one.
This one? This one.
Oh, wait. Maybe this one, because I want to see the full footage. Try this. Yeah. Try it. Open that.
What?
So you're doing a prank to the DoorDash person.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, are you a pedophile?
Right.
No.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, I know this.
Get on my business like half second. Stop. Stop.
And then.
Oh my God. I will say.
That's wild.
It is pretty wild. I wonder how much, how many people on the internet didn't give a fuck because these guys were prank YouTubers.
100%. That was it. The jury was probably just like, fuck the prank YouTuber people, fuck them, and so they.
Because prank YouTubers are like. They deserve human rights, but they're pretty like on the edge.
They are. They're cancerous. I agree.
Oh god, who's that guy? I can't remember his name. He's like English guy, and because every now and then people will square up to them, and they're just like, no, you don't understand, bro. It's a prank. It's just a prank. I know I'm like arresting you in public and shit, but it's just a prank. Like, yeah, fuck it. I don't care. I don't care if you like fucking slapping me in the ear with your dick in public for your fucking YouTube video. Like, sorry. Oh no, it's a prank, bro.
Well, and if you just think that out, it actually doesn't logically make sense to say that. Because I thought about this before. What if I do some crazy shit to somebody, but I tell somebody beforehand, or I email myself saying like, oh, just so you know in advance, like this is a prank. I'm just like fucking around.
Yeah.
But like, if I was actually going to do a crime, I would just email myself that, right? Like, I'm going to break into this dude's house, steal his money, but it's going to be funny. I'll give it back afterwards. But like, if I were to break in, steal it, and not get caught, oh, fuck it. I'll just keep it, right? Like, I don't know. That's dumb.
It's a ridiculous defense. It was a prank, bro.
That Johnny Somali dude, if you followed any of his stuff.
A little bit. He
might be fucked.
What's happened to him now?
Supposedly, if I'm to believe the headlines I've read, I guess he deepfaked some South Korean girl as his girlfriend or something. I'm not even sure if it was pornographic. I don't know. Chat wouldn't know. But apparently South Korea is like super big on deepfakes and like prosecuting that shit right now. And he's facing up to 6 or 7 years in prison, supposedly. But I'm pretty sure that they're, I'm completely making this up just based on my little understanding of like South Korea. But it feels like a very punitive country, and a lot of the people there don't like him. So like, there's a chance that he might get like Omega colossal fucked.
I don't know. There's just like a special fucking place in hell for people who just harass people for content. Like it's not good. Okay, so Asmongold. Haha. Why is everyone giving me fucking Asmongold content today? Are you fighting with him?
Because he's been going over shit.
Oh. Equating Twitter files.
He's part of the war now against Dan Clancy.
Okay.
Yeah, Twitter files hold a candle to what Elon does? I actually think that they're worse. So the reason why I think that they're worse is because what Elon is doing is he's promoting his own views.
Stop. Oh, God. No, you're going to trigger me. We're trying to build bridges with Asmongold, and if you play this, it's going to be over. I'm going to nuke it. He's about to say the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I can't. Don't do this. You're destroying our relationship right now by doing that, just so you know. You're about to destroy any semblance of there ever being an Asmon bridge if you play what you're about to play.
Can you not handle the truth, Stephen? You can't handle the truth about what's happening in...
Absolutely cannot handle that. No, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Just one thing at a time, okay? We're going to introduce it slowly and gently.
Is that they were making actions and taking action on behalf of the website to enforce certain views. So basically, Elon Musk, as an individual, private individual, has every right to speak out and use his freedom of speech to talk about what he believes in, or to use even the platform to do that. But it's a very different thing when you're using the platform to talk about your perspective versus using the platform to silence other people's perspectives and ban them.
Like what they did with the JD Vance laptop story? That wasn't even a story for more than 2 days in the media cycle. Lonerbox, how many days do you think that story was even relevant?
I don't think anyone really cared, did they?
Yeah? Do you think they still care about the Hunter Biden laptop story?
Oh, they care a lot about the Hunter Biden laptop.
They care about that,
They care about his dongus, his fucking drugs, his... Everyone knows what he's packing.
I'm just, at the very least...
We have to know. The people have a right in the public interest.
I got my wish, but I just... there's a name for it when you... Is it the monkey paw shit? No. I feel like there's a name for like when you get your wish, but it's not what... Maybe it's a Pyrrhic victory or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But like, I'd always said like, I wish this would happen to conservatives so we could see if they behave hypocritical. I wish they would do this so we could see. And it has happened. Like the most blatant possible hypocrisies have been committed and they don't care. And I don't feel any better for it. I don't feel good where it's like, well, look, at least I proved this. It doesn't feel good at all.
It's just a bit more disheartening, right?
Yeah. That Elon Musk shit is insane. That's just so crazy. Lonerbox, do you understand? Do you really, though?
What, that he's shaping the discourse with Twitter and amplifying certain things and getting rid of other things?
That it's literally, this is like literally oligarchy behavior.
Yeah.
Like literally.
It's
not like,
yeah.
And then also that like, it's more.
It's what they always accused Mark Zuckerberg of doing because he occasionally met with Democrats. Yeah.
Yeah, and Soros and Dorsey and.
And it's such a, oh God, it's such a sexy, like, Tom Clancy conspiracy, isn't it? Like,
In it,
the
bro.
Russians.
Bro, could
The
you
Russians.
imagine? Could you imagine Biden is on a phone call with Zelensky and fucking Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey
Yeah.
is on the call with him? Do conservatives would lose their minds. There might be like a collective suicide in the country for
Building a
conservatives.
fucking Biden blocks in Moscow.
It would be crazy, yeah.
Oh dear.
Or could you imagine the election fraud claims if Jack Dorsey controlled fucking satellites? With like it would just be, bro.
Did you see the? It's funny because it's like a. Do you see that they made a video about? They made a film about Hunter Biden with a bunch of Z-list fucking celebrities.
Oh, I think I didn't think I saw it, but I think we watched like the trailer for it. Yeah.
Yeah, the trailer with fucking Lawrence Fox. This is the trailer. My Son Hunter, isn't it? Yeah. Do you know who Lawrence Fox is?
No, some loser Z-list actor who's like a super conservative now.
He is totally fucking brain damaged. He like retweets Tommy Robinson all the time, and he just does like the. What was his T-shirt? He did a T-shirt about COVID vaccines. Oh God.
Based.
Lawrence Fox COVID vaccine. This was, I think, the worst one. Oh, it was no vaccine needed. I have an immune system. That was his T-shirt.
Based.
This guy, and he's like, he went to fuck. This guy is like,
That's so true. That's why I don't go to the gym. I've got muscles. Why would I go to the
True.
gym? Why fucking
He,
waste your time?
So this guy went to Harrow, where the tuition fees are something like £20,000 or £30,000 a year. He used to be a songwriter as well, and oh my God, The Distance. Where is it when he plays it on Jeremy Vine?
It's Lawrence.
This song's about free speech. Okay, free speech is in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had put something in the water. They seek a cure for the conversation. They stole a march on your indecision. And the first to fall was laughter, just to quell the unoffended. They seek to murder your opinion.
Murder your opinion. I felt it. Hang on. This is him in the fucking Hunter Biden film.
So I'll tell you what's
I
going
think he plays Hunter Biden.
down.
Do you know who I am?
They told me you were VIP, well connected to the government.
What kind of a moron forgets to pick up his laptop at a repair shop?
Wait, why is there nothing on the screen? What can they see?
Yeah, they see your wonderful shining face.
Oh yeah.
Biden. Act like one.
Fuck. Okay, I need chat to see this. The visuals are too important to this.
Well, then wait a little bit. For
I'm
me to get
waiting.
Set up, okay? Fuck you.
Okay, disrupting the flow, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm over it. You're so offended. They murder your opinion. Okay, hang on. Do they get his cock out for the film? You know what? Do they?
Do they?
Just turn the laptop around. It's not on the fucking laptop. Hang on. The laptop's not hooked up to anything.
STI 1. In or out? What is the point of sending an STI out, guys? What do you ever do that for? What's the point?
Oh, okay.
And then DeckLink Pro
So this
2.
is it.
Connector, STI.
Wait, who's this? Kristi Noem, Secretary of National Security. We're cooked. Who's that? Give me your best Kristi Noem. Tim Pool calls out Destiny today.
Or out. Finish the Asman clip. And then this is STI 4 in or out. This is
Timov Pulovich.
2 in or out. This is STI 3 in or out. Why?
So, Homeland Security. Well, this is from hours ago. This is from yesterday. Oh, expected to. Okay, but he confirms live updates. Okay. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem
So her last name is seriously Noem?
Noem.
Pretty funny.
To serve as Homeland Security Secretary, according to people familiar with the selection who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss a decision not yet made public. Trump is off to a rapid start, rolling out his picks for key administration jobs as he prepares for a return to the White House in January. What do we know about her?
What's her name?
Kristi Noem.
No clue. Look her up. Maybe 4. This one should be 3.
She killed a dog. That's a good start. What's her Wikipedia say?
That is so fucking weird.
Wait, did she actually kill her own? Wait, is that true?
Okay.
Insiders said that her odds of being selected as Trump's running mate had waned due to her stance on abortion and the revelation in her book, No Going Back, that she shot and killed her pet dog and a goat.
Okay. Well, what did the dog do?
Don't tell Trump, man.
Okay. This is camera. Okay, wait. Camera 2 wide.
What? It's in her own book. Why is it in her book? What, did she have to tell people? Well, that's a good party line for the next election.
Camera 2. Oh, shit.
They're killing the dogs. They're killing the goats. Tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm. Didn't Mitt Romney have a dog incident? He did. What did he do?
Did he kill the dog?
He put a dog. No, he put his dog on in a carrier, and then put the carrier on the roof of the car, like tied it down to the roof. Is that what he did?
That sounds a little bit kind of fucking weird, but... Okay.
How fast was he driving? Yeah, for a cross-state road trip. Wait, okay, so why did she kill a dog? Okay, so no going back. In a chapter titled Bad Day to Be a Goat, Noem recounted that she was entering a regular guest to her family's hunting lodge, with the guests having their final morning of hunting before leaving. Noem brought Cricket, her family's 14-month-old female wire-haired pointer, along for this pheasant hunt, expecting Cricket to emulate the older trained dogs on the hunt. According to Noem, Cricket ruined the hunt by separating from the group and was scaring away many birds that were out of range of the hunters. Cricket was having the time of her life, but Noem was livid. Noem was a kennel short for the ride home, so she decided to let Cricket loose in the back end of the truck, adding that if Cricket was dumb enough to jump out, then good riddance, I didn't care. When Noem then visited a local family, Cricket jumped off the truck, killed several of the family's chickens, then whipped around to bite Noem, who dragged Cricket to the truck, threw her inside, while Cricket remained in a state of pure joy. Noem wrote that she hated that dog and concluded that Cricket was dangerous, untrainable, and less than worthless. After shooting the dog dead in a gravel pit, Noem decided to kill her family's male goat, which she said was disgusting, mucky, rancid, nasty, and mean, and loved to chase Noem's children. She dragged him to the gravel pit and killed him with 2 shots, having to go back to the house to reload after she botched the first attempt.
Based?
Based?
I don't see the problem.
It's just after the
Okay.
They're shooting the dogs. They're shooting the goats. Kamala should have had that one loaded. Why didn't she?
Do you think 50 feet goes all the way around this room? I bet it doesn't. I bet I need 60 or 75.
Couldn't tell you.
You can't tell me shit,
No.
Loner. That's your fucking problem. If you don't know shit, you just rely on your dumbass accent. You think that can save you? It won't save you.
Reporter to Biden, can you get a hostage deal done by the end of your term?
President Biden, do you think that you can get a hostage deal by the end of your term?
Think you can get hit in the head by a camera behind you? All right.
What'd he say?
He said, do you think you can get hit in the head by the camera behind you?
Based?
Based?
Did he really say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's taking no prisoners on the way out.
President Biden, do you think that you can cut a hostage deal by the end of your term?
I think you can get hit in the head by a camera behind you. All right. Thank you all. Mr. President.
Man, he's out of his fucking mind. Noem initially responded that tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm, and subsequently said the incident occurred 20 years ago, and that the fake news put the worst spin on the story, as Cricket was a working dog that came to us from a family who had found her way too aggressive. A responsible owner does what they need to. The story led to bipartisan criticism of Noem and doubt about the likelihood of her selection as Trump's vice presidential running mate intensified. Rolling Stone reported that sources close to Trump said the story disgusted him. Yeah, because Trump does that. I don't know why. Has he always been like this, where Trump has this like very amplified concern for animals? He makes animals like a very central part of his campaign messaging.
Because he's like a fucking child. So it's like a purity thing.
Yeah.
Like when he's like, oh, I never drink or smoke or do anything like that. No drugs.
Okay. So she's in charge of Secretary for Department of Homeland Security.
Secretary for the DHS. Oh, that's her.
Yeah.
That's a cabinet position, right? Secretary,
That would
top
be.
level, DHS.
I would imagine so. Not that I have any fucking idea. I'm not at that part of my civics course yet.
Are Pisco and Joanne are gone, right?
I think so.
Do you
Is
know
there
anything
anything-
about the whole Peter Thiel,
Don't know about him, no.
and Elon Musk telling Trump to choose J.D. Vance as his running mate?
Nope, don't know about that.
That stuff is a little spooky.
Why? What happened?
It's weird that a billionaire would tell Trump to pick somebody as a running mate. I just think that's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, like how Mark Zuckerberg definitely influenced cabinet picks for Biden, right?
What's that? Are you making?
I don't think he
comparison, or
did.
You're trying to reference the.
No, I don't think he did, right? Did he?
I don't think so. Were you referencing the Twitter Spaces last night?
No, I was just saying that the comparisons, the way that Republicans used to talk about Mark Zuckerberg when they used to think that he was much more Democrat leaning, is just like Elon Musk just exceeds that by like a million times.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, this would go here.
Wasn't it Trump Jr.'s recommendation, Pixie's asking? I don't know.
Who's asking that?
Pixie.
I hate that chatter.
Wow.
I read an article that said it was Elon Musk's. She said it was whose? She said who could it have been?
Trump Jr.
Oh. 50 feet is not enough.
No.
I don't think. Should I actually try it? Here, look, this cord needs to go all the way around the edge of the room, and it needs to go all the way around through here, and then it needs to plug in back here.
You don't have a tape measure, I'm guessing, to figure this out.
Would it work? Oh, I do have a tape measure. Good idea, see? Look,
Yeah?
that was smart. Good one, dude. You're good.
Where
Good
am
for
I when you need me, eh?
Good for you.
Tunnel vision, eh? Happens to the best of us. Okay. And generally, after tape measuring, you want to get a little bit more than you think you'll need. Rather
Wow,
than
thanks.
less.
True. I never even considered that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just wondering how many other basics you haven't thought of, okay?
Okay, so this is about, we'll say, 12 feet. And this is about 12, 16.
Someone wants to talk to you in stream disagreements.
So that'd be 28. Okay, hold on. I'll drag him up.
I'm sure it's... Is Discord not opening here? Or
It's 28. Oh, shit. Wait, maybe it is. Maybe 50 is enough.
who is it? What's their name?
Why? Can you drag people?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Washington Post.
28 and 16 is 42. Oh no, 50 should be 20.
Oh, I know what to do. So, what's the rule about doing this on
Doing what?
stream? I don't know if I can say it because it's like obviously not a nice thing to do, or like maybe not kosher. I tend to do it off screen.
Wait, do what?
Just a Washington Post article, and obviously it's paywalled, so I need to.
Oh my God, are you serious? Okay, I dragged 3 people up. Good luck.
How many people is this? 3.
There, it's our panel. Good luck.
Okay, one at a
I
time.
don't actually have a disagreement. I just wanted to say that you are fucking based.
Thanks.
Okay.
Who's next?
All right, guys. I wanted to ask Lonerbox, right?
Oh God.
What he thinks of like misinformation in the UK, right? Because in the US, I think you guys are fucked. There's nothing you can do about it, right? But in the UK, we've got the BBC, right? And I think
Sorry, I was fixing my stuff.
What? Anyway, but in the UK, right, we've got the BBC, and we could like reclaim the platforms, like nationalize the platforms, so that we could then control kind of, you know, like the perverse incentives. Just wondering what Lonerbox thought of that being from the UK.
We can nationalize what parts of what platforms?
Well, like all of them. I mean, we could have our own Facebook, our own YouTube, that kind of shit, you know.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, I'm just saying it's possible, right? You know, like, I mean, I don't see that being a thing that could happen in the USA.
Possible, but also keep in mind, would anybody use it?
Yeah, there is that. I mean, you know, I suppose it's kind of heavy-handed if you just kind of start blocking stuff, and maybe people would just be using VPNs or whatever. But but you know, we have. Right, and that was pretty good at like sort of maintaining the Overton window, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Keeping everyone sort of within like a reasonable like sort of debate ground, if you know what I mean. But I just kind of think there's like potential that we don't see in the USA. You know, I just wondered if you thought that was like a feasible thing.
I mean, I get people in the UK in general seem to be a bit less insane than Americans when it comes to handling information, but I don't know if nationalizing the platforms is. I don't know. There's just something about government stepping in when it comes to regulating like discourse in particular ways that just feels like it just feels like a.
Yeah, I totally hear you. But you know, like, I mean, there was this idea that, you know, the internet was going to democratize all your information and we'd all be way better off for it. But all it's given us is fucking QAnon and flat earthers and fucking neo-Nazis. You know what I mean? So like, I know it's heavy-handed and kind of nanny state, but fucking apparently people need that. You know what I mean? Like, I think we have to be more pragmatic about saying, oh, you know, let's not be too censorious and stuff, and say, you know what, yeah, we do need a little bit of guidance here, because clearly people can't fucking, like, you know, don't have the capacity to be able to reasonably sort of take in this deluge of bullshit that we're getting, you know?
Yeah, but if you can't, how are you going to stop people from gravitating towards the places that aren't nationalized and are just like full of fucking...
He said block them.
You just want to block? Would you block them then? So you would block places?
You know,
like
I don't think I would. I don't think I would block them. You know, if people want to do that, then they will. But I think it will be a small minority. Like, you know, there's always been kind of fringe elements, but it's been mostly small because it hasn't been so widely available, and crucially, it hasn't been like super incentivized. You know, like because it's. You know, because ultimately, Alphabet, Google, whatever, that you know, all they're trying to do is maximize your viewing time. They're going to push you the most salacious shit so that you keep watching. It's going to gravitate to the most fucking wild shit, you know. So if we de-incentivize that, we take away those kind of toxic algorithms, and you know, we're not saying that if you want to talk about flat Earth that we're going to ban you. We're saying you can talk about flat Earth, but like, you know, you're just going to be a person standing on a soapbox and no one's going to fucking hear you. We're not going to incentivize that unless, you know, like if it becomes naturally kind of popular, then fair enough. But I think, you know, if you took the wind out of the sails of people like Ben Shapiro or whoever, these people would not be successful without like the sort of kind of artificial boost that they get from the money that they can pump into their ads and all these kinds of things, you know?
Yeah, but even when you're talking about taking the wind out of the sails of people like Ben Shapiro, I mean, as far as the Overton window in America goes right now, Ben Shapiro isn't even nearly as far right as so many of the people that are even just like around the MAGA sphere now. So even then, it's like, where do you draw the line? Personally, I feel like the damage is already done. And if you start trying to clamp down on that through the state, it's like, this
Yeah,
this
no,
stuff is
that's
already
a good
bled into
point.
the
Fair
mainstream
enough.
media.
Fair
So
enough. But I think that the fact that that is true is because, like you say, the damage has been done, right? But I mean, there is a line I think we can say, okay, look, we definitely don't want people advocating for, I don't know, like, over anti-Semitism or over Islamophobia, whatever, right? There's lines that, like, okay, we're not gonna, that have I mean, I don't know how exactly it would work, but we're not gonna have the algorithm push, something beyond this kind of level. And I know it gets into like an area where you're like, okay, who decides, who censors the censors kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I do think that, at some point we have to be able to say, okay, look, go ahead.
I think the only way you can probably deal with that kind of thing is not by introducing new laws and measures, but trying to apply the ones that you already have to how these platforms work. So we already have laws against inciting racial hatred in the UK, right? They're not used that often, but they are used. We have laws against incitement. We have laws against defamation. And if there's a platform that is functioning in our country and it's not really stopping people from being allowed to break these laws, then there might be some way in there to say that this platform needs to get either regulated or it's just like it's incompatible with the way that we like function as a society. But honestly,
I totally agree.
Personally, I just don't see the answer going that way. I just think it's a new thing that people are in a kind of jerk reaction looking for easy answers to, but I don't think we have one.
Yeah, well, you might be right. I mean, I'm not saying I have all the answers, but like, it just feels kind of like, look, the public square, the digital town square has just been seized by people who just fucking got there first. You know what I mean? And like, they just own it now, and we're suffering the effects of them extracting as much fucking money as they can from it, and like that doesn't seem right to me, But like, I take your point that like that could be a problem. But I think I would also like want to enshrine kind of like a new bill of digital rights, so that we have more control over what happens with our data and these kinds of things. And I don't know, I think we'd have to change what we do with like privacy or anonymity, like at some level. All right, you can still go.
The big problem that you run into is that people don't actually understand what the early internet was, and they don't understand why the early internet was so good. Like, a lot of people will erroneously state the cool thing about the early internet was that you could do or say whatever you wanted, and it was like the Wild West. That's not really true. It's true in the sense that anybody could make a website, but one of the nicest things about the internet is that when you were browsing, forums or message boards or whatever, they were strictly moderated by humans that were super interested in maintaining a high quality of conversation on those forums.
Yeah.
If you went somewhere and you shit posted or you just said a bunch of crazy shit, you would get banned by a human. That's it. So the idea that like it was this Wild West, there was one place that was kind of the Wild West, which was B, but it was funny and it was cool because it was the Wild West. But if you were to tell somebody, hey, like, this is my opinion on XYZ foreign affair or my domestic issue opinion, they're like, oh, wow, what'd you hear about this? And they were like, oh, I get my news from B. People would look at you like you're fucking retarded. That would never be a thing that you would do. So the early internet was not this like super democratic, everybody has freedom of speech in all areas. It was way more clamped down and way more moderated by like people that were passionately interested in the boards that they were moderating than whatever stupid concept of like what the idea of what the internet was before. Yeah.
Oh, no, I totally agree. And funny enough, last night I was reading, like, I can't remember what it was called now. It was like a sort of manifesto by the digital frontier. It was like a declaration of the independence of cyberspace kind of thing. And to read it now, it's like so like naive, It's like, oh, you corporate people aren't welcome here, so please don't come here. Thank you very much. It's like, good luck with that. But that's kind of why I'm saying, like you were just saying, look, these places were moderated by real people, and there was some kind of code enforced, and that has gone, So I'm saying, look, I think we should say, unfortunately, I mean, it's like, it's a bit of a cost to pay, but I think we should do away with the idea that you can be completely anonymous. I think you should still be able to like go under any kind of pseudonym you want, but at the end of, when there is trouble or like misbehavior, I think people should be able to sort of, or administrators of some kind, dig a level deeper and say, okay, this is this guy and it's tied to his account, and we know that there's no foreign actors.
Well, the thing is, if anyone crosses a particular social boundary, maybe even if it's not legal, usually there are journalists and people who will go out and find that information. Like for the UK riots, we know that one of the big inciters was that guy he was like in Finland, wasn't he? He was in one of the Scandinavian countries, and they went to his fucking house and followed him around and made him really. So I think that's the thing, right?
So when they do. When they do clamp down, though, it's like really heavy-handed. There was that woman who, like, I think when there was a riot, she said, "Oh, burn the hotel with all the refugees in." Like, pretty fucking sick stuff, right? But I kind of think that, look, if this person was more accountable and she didn't just feel like, some totally anonymous person online, in real life, she would probably never say this, right? She would like this is not something you do in civil society. And I think people need to be more accountable in that way, so that like, if you didn't feel like there was no like recourse for the things you do online, then people wouldn't behave like this. And then therefore, to clamp down, to like slam the hammer down so hard on people that do this kind of thing.
A lot of people spend a lot of time trying to figure out like how to problem solve, but what you're talking about is trivially easy to do. It's easy to moderate. It's easy to have people in positions to figure this out. The problem is not everybody agrees that this is a problem. That's what you have to get everybody on the same side on first, because people think that right now, especially depending on your political inclination, people think right now that the media environment we exist in is really good. So this conversation with those people is a waste of time.
Do they? I mean, I don't. Who thinks it's really good though right now?
Well, okay, so you'll never understand because you're a British person. In America, we're fucking insane. And they legitimately do think, like, you might watch stuff as a bonger and you might think that, like, wow, Americans must know how crazy their system is. No, what you guys see as WWF, we see as, like, real life wrestling. Like, we seriously believe all this shit. It's not a joke to us. We believe it 100%. So. Yeah,
it's the majority of the people who voted in the last election. Like they like.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to speak to Lone about, because I mean, I agree with you. Like, I think in the US you guys have bigger problems, but in the UK, like I was saying, we had the BBC, and it was like a centralizing thing that could kind of focus or have the sort of like a bit of I can't put it into the right words, like a sort of kind of group think into a sort of acceptable boundaries, if you know what I mean, and I just think that like there's an opportunity to kind of expand the remit of the BBC to encompass some of these platforms, and then we can do away with all the fucking bots and all the all the bullshit.
So I know in the past what we used to do is when we had laws around some quite bad laws, like laws around offensive material that we had in the UK, they used to only be for the fucking postal service in the 1800s, then it was fucking telephones, and then it was TV, then it was eventually the internet. But we have Ofcom in the UK, right? They regulate competition and also, to an extent, content. That's why Sky News can have like Rupert Murdoch at the helm there. But they're a lot more crazy in Australia than they are in the UK, even though it's still Sky.
Yeah.
Whereas now that Twitter is like the number one news source for a lot of people, I think it might even be like a plurality of people, then I wonder if Ofcom would have a way of getting involved in that as well, but I don't know. I just don't know how that works. I don't know how Ofcom can regulate Twitter in the sense that, like,
well, yeah, I mean, the board of the BBC needs just to be turned out because it's full of like Murdoch people and like finance people and all kinds of shit. But yeah, it's not ideal the way it is. But yeah.
Yeah, so maybe there surely is some kind of like, if people are getting more news from Twitter than they're getting from the mainstream media, there should be, and we have regulators for news, then you'd think there'd be something there with a platform where someone like Elon Musk is clearly amplifying a particular political perspective that is incredibly partisan on X.
Yeah,
so.
and it's very clear that they're just gaming free speech, right? And I think we need to be able to say, look, you're abusing free speech here. But anyway, listen, I don't want to go on too long. Thank you guys for your time. Stephen, can I just say I thought your coverage over the last few months of the January 6th stuff has been fucking awesome. Congratulations, and I've really enjoyed it. So thank you both.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Was there a third person?
All right, I'm the second guy. Yes, what's up, man? I'm from Ukraine, and of course, a Ukrainian being here is going to talk about Ukraine. Surprise, surprise. I'm really coping right now. And, when Trump got elected, I don't know, I started grasping at straws, right? Started to look at different things that could, maybe this is not that bad, so I'm here to cope. And I would like to know your opinion, because obviously his rhetoric is fucking abysmal. His degen son posting that shit on Instagram about Zelensky made me super upset, super mad. And, but in the negotiations, Elon Musk participates, whatever, at this point, he's like supplying like Starlink and providing all of that shit, which is extremely important. And he did say, the grasping at straws begin. He did say that he's not going to turn it off. I don't know if I should believe him or whatever. Trump said that he's going to be good for Ukraine. Zelensky said, and of course Zelensky would say that they will try to, work. And so far they haven't heard anything bad from Trump. What are you guys' assessment? Like, I understand that Trump said a lot of bad shit, but again, coping here, but he did close that Nord Stream pipeline. He did provide us some weapons, among the first ones, among the first administrations, I guess, that amount, even though I understand that he tried to get some information back from us. Like, when you compare it to what he says and what he actually does, is there a chance?
The thing was, so your country's fucked, bro. You got to get the fuck out. No, I'm just kidding. The issue was, so what you just said, and it's so funny because if Trumpers knew anything about foreign policy, they would actually bring that up in debate as a big own. Because I do believe that Trump was the first president to make a significant sale of arms to Ukraine. Nobody's ever brought that up in a debate before because conservatives are fucking retarded. However, back then, I don't think Ukraine was a contentious political issue. When you guys had Crimea invaded, the U.S. didn't really know much or care. And not to be mean, I'm just being blunt. And also, all the ongoing stuff in the Donbass, like we don't know what that is or where it is or if it's a civil war, or if it's a war. So Trump providing arms there was basically him expending absolutely zero political capital to do so. However, now there's a lot more political narrative wrapped up in supporting Ukraine that's going to make it a more contentious issue for him to support. Like, you never would have heard somebody back then, or if people were saying it, either it wasn't popular or I totally missed it. You never heard people back then saying things like, why are we sending money to Ukraine when we could be sending money to homeless vets or whatever? That just was never part of the talking points. Now that's like a mainstream anti-Ukrainian talking point. So
I don't understand that, but aren't you saying that Trumpers, whatever the fuck you call them, are going to believe anything Trump is going to tell them?
Yes.
So if he's going to tell them, Ukraine is good, let's support him and all that shit. So
yeah, they'll flip.
If Trump told the party right now that Ukraine is good and we need to save them because they'll post like nudes of Melania that'll be better for all of society or something. Like, we would be there'd be like boots on the ground in Ukraine. Like, Americans wouldn't even know who the fuck they'd be shooting at, but they would be there like killing whoever they need to kill if Trump told them to do it. So, but the issue is just getting Trump on board with that.
But that's why it's like Trump hedges. He hedges with everything. Right now it's leaning towards the isolationist pro-Russia thing quite hard. But in the past he said things. Yeah, there's that clip of him last year where he's like, oh yeah, if Putin doesn't play ball, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna give him a lot. We're gonna give Zelensky a lot. They're gonna give him more than he's ever had.
He said I'm gonna bomb Moscow and shit.
Yeah, and he said that they should fucking use American planes to bomb Russia but put like Chinese flags on them to confuse them. Yeah, he's.
Actually say
that.
He
did say that, yeah. So
not even surprising.
It just okay. Yeah, it's unfortunately your fate does just depend on the latest person to dribble something in
Trump's
ear. That's why I
told Anna, if you guys are serious about protecting your country, what you need to be doing is you need to be deep faking videos of Putin saying Trump is a small dick or whatever.
Yes.
And then if Trump saw one of those videos and he believed it, you would wake up tomorrow with a mushroom cloud to the northeast as Moscow is incinerated.
That sounds fantastic, but I mean, my understanding is that it depends who's going to be the first or who's going to win at being closest to Trump's ear. Is it going to be like Putin or Zelensky, right? And whoever's going to tell him the sweet words is that what's going to happen?
Basically, yeah. But I don't know if what Zelensky can offer Trump, because it's also it is a political issue right now in the United States, because nobody knows how government spending works. Nobody knows how our budget works. Nobody knows how our government works. People think that as long as we're supporting Ukraine, we're not supporting our domestic budget. So if there's homeless people in the street and we're supporting Ukraine, that's a politically unpopular issue. So I mean,
and okay, another cope thing. I started looking into people who are supporting Trump or whatever, and I'm just gonna throw a couple of things out and tell me what you think. So this Peter Thiel guy, he is supporting. He has Palantir, which is a technology that is Ukraine using basically for intelligence operations. It's like a map kind of thing that shows you different layers of battlefield basically, and we're using that. We're also working with other defense companies. One of them is Anduril, who is Thiel also investing in. And it seems like Musk is also, whatever, you can say anything about him, but he is providing like Starlink, and a lot of people in Ukraine also buy Starlink, and I don't know, that's probably a drop in the bucket, but you know what I mean, right? So that's like the first thing. The second thing is, what about like oil people that support Trump? Trump is like drill, drill, drill. He is obviously wants to work with these people. Perhaps they're bankrolling him. I've looked into some people who are donated to his company. Some of them were oil and gas companies as well. Wouldn't they be interested in Russia not being like keeping the sanctions and Russia not being a major player in the oil and gas shit? And if they're gonna bomb Iran as well, Iran is not gonna be a player. That aren't they like potentially? I know it's a cope, but what do you think about that?
What is the question? That he would want to basically play ball with Ukrainian gas companies, so he'd try to save Ukraine to preserve that?
He would not want to play with Russia and Iran because they would be potentially competitors to American oil business, and Ukraine could be a good ground for, because we have a lot of gas and oil as well. It could be taken up by American companies and start,
I don't think
pumping shit.
You need to be abstracting your political analysis here. You're way too like on the numbers and the facts. The reality is right now America is already like producing and exporting more energy than we ever have in the history of all of the USA. Like Trump could come into office day one and just take credit for that and be content. Like that's possible. I don't know how much he'll actually care about competing with Iran and Russia. I'm not sure. It's all going to come down to these second and third order abstractions for his political beliefs. So like if somebody tells him like, oh, we don't want Iran to be powerful again, then he might say, okay, well, we're going to sanction the fuck out of Iran and make sure that this doesn't happen, and we're going to help Ukraine because of that. Like that is possible, but like this isn't going to be based on any like shrewd factual political analysis. It's just going to be like a very vibe checky kind of thing.
So people who are oil gas companies are investing in Trump. They just basically don't want any like maybe regulations that would be imposed by like another administration like Democrats for like some environmental shit, or do they think like bigger like international politics?
No. I think Republicans, companies just like the fact that there's not as much regulation. Like that's it, basically.
And what about defense companies? They're very dependent on, or do you think they would just get as much money from defense contracts on American military?
I would have to look. This might be a really dumb statement, but I don't know how much like war even matters for defense companies making money. Like it's not like because the United States military is always like engaged in projects and investing in like all of our shit. Like it's not like we made the F-35s in like to go to war with somebody, or it's not like we're investing in missile defense shit to go to war with somebody. Like that's just a thing that the United States is always investing in. So I don't know if you're voting for Trump because you're like, oh God, we need wars to make so much money. Like maybe, but I don't know.
Apparently, Rubio he voted against the last military aid package to Ukraine. He was one of the 15 Republican lawmakers who went against that in April.
True, but that could have just been like a party line, or like they have to block some legislation. Like it doesn't necessarily indicate what his position would be.
Okay, because his general rhetoric is he doesn't want people to think that he's pro-Russia or anything. But I guess I don't know. It's just going to come down to. Honestly, it's just going to come down to whatever deal is most likely happening now, where they want Ukraine to cede territory and be neutral and freeze the conflict and all that. It just depends on how much people can make Trump feel cucked to Putin for doing it, and then he'll flip. But that's, I think it's just that.
If I may, just a little bit about like internal kind of feeling from Ukrainian people here. I did talk to a lot of my friends, and I do see in the comments in like some groups and stuff that I visit that people are not, people don't understand fucking anything about our own politics, let alone U.S. politics, but they're not that afraid, I guess, of Trump being the president. That's the first vibe that I'm getting. And the second thing is that there was a statement from Zelensky that he even spoke to Trump in his fucking dumb retarded Trump Tower, like what the fuck, about like either we're gonna build nukes or we're gonna be in NATO. Like that's kind of like what else do we have to do? And Trump said, oh, that's a good argument, Vladimir. And so I'm thinking like we are definitely not poised to take a very unfavorable deal. I don't think that Zelensky is going to go on a deal, even if potentially, support from America is going to be completely cut. We kind of survived without it for 6 months. Maybe Europe is going to pick up as well. That's another cope, I know. But like, what do you think about that? Like, do you think that Zelensky is going to take it? Do you think we're going to build nukes, or we're going to be in NATO, or there's no chance?
I mean, I think if Zelensky takes Trump's deal as we understand it now, then he'll probably get like obliterated by his own people, right?
Careful that this doesn't show my stream. You can see it up here.
Oh.
Also, keep in mind that you have to separate out, for some reason citizens are just too retarded to do this, even though it's the most obvious thing in the world. You have to separate out in your mind like what's actually happening versus like what a world leader is required to say. Fuck. Is Pixie here?
I don't know.
Hello? Yeah, or am I allowed to, can I go down there? I'm on my way down right now, okay? 1 sec.
I don't know what that was, but he's,
Yeah,
he's
I can
gone.
go down right now.
He's out of here. I'm here by myself.
I can keep you company if you want. Are you scared?
Yeah, no, I'm not scared. Don't worry. I've been in rooms alone before.
How much do you know about like Ukraine, Russia stuff?
Quite a bit. I mean, I did a lot of reading about it when the war started, and I did a few response videos to Hassan and other kind of people. So, but I haven't caught up with it more recently. I guess I learned a bit about the Kursk region, but yeah, just.
I was actually in a video with Dylan Burns. We were like 4 Ukrainians shitting on Hassan for his degenerate takes on Ukraine.
Oh, really? You were in that?
Yeah, I was the guy on the left with the beard. I also kind of stream, but that's like my stream is not doing well. It's just more like a hobby. But I'm actually I actually may get like a position in the government. I don't know about that yet. So I'm also thinking about like what can I do to make sure that Russian propaganda is not going to be influencing Ukrainians that much, because that shit is fucking crazy too. Like for example, obviously they're trying to influence America as well. But one thing that is going on right now on X, which is like a dissemination of Russian propaganda, prime example of that is that election might be fake. I believe it's like it seems like Russian political technology basically create as much chaos as possible to confuse people and make them infight. So they're pushing that as well.
Sounds a bit bleak. Are you still? Yeah. So when you say you're on the left in this video, you mean like you're on the stage left, like you're on the right of the screen, right?
Yeah, I'm on the right of the screen.
Yeah, I see. Okay, cool.
White,
so are you?
white shirt.
You're still in Ukraine now, right?
Yeah. I mean, probably there's ways to leave, but I don't feel like I want to. Like, I really like this country, and I'm not gonna lie. Like before the war, I was like, but now it kind of like energized me, you know. And I live in a safe-ish part. Sometimes there's I post some like anti-air shooting drones and shit on my Patreon, but
cool.
There's barely you can see anything, but crazily enough, you get used to it.
Yeah, cool. So is there much of a, you said this prospect of Zelensky taking whatever Trump's deal might be, even though it's very anti-Ukraine. What do the people think? Last time I checked Ukrainian polling, it was always like, we're going to fight for basically everything, regardless of who's helping us or not. Has that changed, or?
I think here's what's the main contention is that war for us, we don't want to fight for the sake of fighting, yeah, obviously, right? But we don't want the war to end on bad terms, because it just like kicking the can down the road. It's going to happen again because we literally saw it, like people saying that, oh, you don't know what's going to happen. We do know, because it happened, right? 2014, 2022, and it will happen again if we're not going to have proper security guarantees. And I believe that without security guarantees, we're not going to give up. Like, I can imagine a situation where we would be like, okay, whatever is Russia controlling right now, they kind of can keep it, but not officially. We will never recognize those territories as Russian. And then we're going to have like a long, lengthy, like diplomatic discussion about those territories for like 10 to 15 years, whatever. But we have to be in NATO, otherwise Russia is going to attack again, and it's going to be another war. So we have to get out something out of this, some like guarantees of security. Otherwise, people are going to be like super mad, because what the fuck we were fighting for.
Yeah, and that's obviously what's missing now from the perspective Trump deal. Is it sounds more like Ukrainian neutrality, which does mean you can just try again whenever you want, basically. Has there been any thoughts in Ukraine, I don't know how often this comes up, about the idea of not being able to get into NATO, but by having some kind of guarantee from Europe instead? Has that ever been floated as an option, or do people just not think about that?
There was. I remember Zelensky, and the news kind of like talking about him going to different countries and getting these deals on like weapons and support and security guarantees and stuff. He had his like plan presented, peace plan, like the 10 steps or whatever was in that plan or something. But and it seems like he wanted to have something because he understood that maybe NATO is not going to happen. He wanted some other guarantees. But the problem is like Destiny is correct that Iraq fucked everyone's mind. But it's not only that. It's like the whole, like, in my opinion, and of course, my opinion might be biased because I'm closest to Russia, I guess, on the border, and we are affected by propaganda. Like, we are attacked by propaganda for so many years now. I think that these countries like Russia, Iran, China, they are working very hard to disseminate propaganda in the Western countries that, West is bad, you shouldn't intervene, fucking Brexit, don't work with each other, alliances should be separate, etc. Or like you shouldn't build anything. So it all benefits them. And in my opinion, it's like usage of Europe is also like under attack of propaganda. There's plenty of like, not to sound like conspiracy theorists, but basically there are like plenty of examples where Russians would create a fake article about some immigrants. There was a specific article that I'm trying to remember. It happened like a while ago, but it just shows that, like in Germany, I believe that some immigrants beat up a German guy and raped his girlfriend or whatever, which was like absolutely fake. But it created unrest in the country. So they're trying to attack these like core things to disseminate like unrest basically. And I fucking forgot what I was going. But basically, like they don't want any Western countries to intervene, and for them, it's like mentally, like just imagine if this shit would happen like 20 years ago, right? Like army would be here, but now Western countries are too cucked to like putting boots on the ground. It's almost like nuclear war right now, and I don't. I think it's like they got him, and to me, I don't think that there's any security guarantees that Zelensky signs are going to be any meaningful. Like fucking Germany right now is talking about, Taurus missiles. We can't give you Taurus missiles because. Because what? It's going to completely change the landscape?
The world needs to get together and figure out, like, what do we want Ukraine to do? Because the lack of, like, cohesion on what needs to happen is, like, infuriating. I mean, it's easy for me to say this as an American, but, like, if I was Ukrainian, I feel like, listen, if my shit is fucked and Russia's taking my shit, then let them have it. But, like, don't do this. Like, well, you guys can fight, but we're going to kind of, like, we're, like, teasing you with weapons, like a cat chasing a laser pointer. Like, you can have this missile, but not that missile. You can shoot this far, but not that far. You can, like, make up your fucking mind.
That's a big problem because I feel like potentially, I think the one thing that could maybe move someone like Trump on this would be that American defense spending, I think, as a proportion of GDP is lower now than it's pretty much ever been.
I believe so, yeah.
I feel like if someone could just convince Trump that like it would be in his interest to reestablish some kind of like American responsibility in the world stage, like back like maybe in the 90s when they were intervening in fucking Kosovo and shit, because there is an opportunity there to like show some kind of flex, but I don't know.
It's not immediately obvious why that's beneficial to us. That's the problem. Yeah. And people view our budget as like, well, if you spend money here, you can't spend money there, and so it's just.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be obviously beneficial. It just needs to be like America. Fuck yeah, we did it right this time. Because, right now, the fact that it has just been this half-assed, and Trump likes that messaging. He's like, Trump's the strong guy. Like, he would have been too strong for Putin to invade in 2022 if he was there. So it's like, okay, well, show us how strong you are, as opposed to the cuck Democrats who were just like drip feeding them shit one thing at a time without where you can't use half the weapons in the way that
I kind of agree, and I feel the sentiment of like drip feeding, but the problem with Trump, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. Any day he can do some crazy shit. Like right now I have less understanding of what the fuck is gonna happen next than with Biden that was drip feeding us, the equipment. Like right now, I'm completely mindfuck. I have no idea.
It's Republicans blocking the shit out of them, isn't it? Like it's obstruction. And
yeah, but the problem is you don't even know, like, what does Trump even want to do?
Trump just wants to do whatever he thinks will make him look the best at a particular point.
Yeah, but like
right?
that's the issue, right? What does that mean, right? Nobody has any fucking idea. That's the problem.
But wouldn't Trump look the best if he would if he would support Ukraine, because like a whole nation of people would fucking love him to death? Like what are Russians gonna do? Oh yeah, fucking we control Trump, we control that cuck, he's under Putin's fucking palm of the hand, whatever. But Ukraine is gonna be like, oh my god, you fucking saved us, here's some statues.
I think Putin needs to do something or appear to do something that makes him less sympathetic to Trump's supporters, because right now they like him, right?
I guess, which is fucking insane to me. I don't know what, but again, is that like the effect of Trump just pushing that rhetoric, or do they?
A combination of that and probably just the social media that they consume. I don't think it was all Trump. Wasn't that a thing as well? Wasn't that? I think it was the same in the UK, but I don't know if it was here, where I feel like 10 years ago, appearing to be pro-Russian in any way was like a fucking death sentence. But I don't know if America did that as well. It was definitely the case in the UK. It fucked Corbyn a lot because people thought he was sympathetic to Russia.
So it is a death sentence in Ukraine right now. I mean, not officially, but you're going to go to jail if you do shit like that, which is fucking based. And of course, not freedom of speech or whatever, but I feel like with everything that is going on right now, like I remember I hopped on the call with Destiny like a while ago trying to argue some positions like against free speech, not like completely, but doing something to stop these people like Tucker Carlson. And you were discussing how social media like controls the narrative right now. And like the bigger you are, in my opinion, the more you should be treated like an actual news outlet. So you would have some like regulation or restriction. What do you think about that?
For regulation of the media, you mean?
Regulation of people who are like social media, like Tucker Carlsons of the world that have way too big of a influence.
I don't know the correct answer to how you stop that, because you're just going against what is currently like quite popular. So it's a bit difficult to get like a feel for what happened there.
I had this idea, right? And I was just curious what you guys think. So what if there would be a way for you to kind of like confirm your identity like through some like third party government app, right? When you log into these social medias, and you would have a check mark. hear this out. You would have a check mark that basically says that you were verified and that you're an actual person. And people who use this social media could filter out. Now, this is not like required for anyone to do, but it's optional. But then people would have the option only filter the content from like verified people. Do you think that would help in like removing the bots and all that influence from people's feeds? Because in my opinion, with time, people would just simply trust those accounts.
I don't know how much it is to do with...
We've literally seen the opposite happen in the US, right? Where people were like fact checkers, and those people, they're part of like the liberal bias, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know how much it is to do with anonymity as well. I feel like the worst actors and the worst influences are from people who everyone knows who they are, right? I don't know how much anonymity has to do with it. Like, you think like that would solve anything if everyone knew who everyone was.
Well, here's what's happening in Ukraine. Every time you see a post anywhere and you go into the comments, it's like, it's just absolutely fucked. And I know for a fact that 99% of that is like Russian bots. And because of the algorithms on different social media, like if I'm in Ukraine and I access like comments on a TikTok video, I would be shown comments from this region first at the top, and they're all like super fucked. And I feel like a lot of people get their brain scrambled reading that shit. So if you could like filter out,
yeah, and I know that
by verified people,
it should be. You think it would be easy enough to get rid of bots, but Yeah, I know that a lot of like Russian actors like to pretend to be black people. Like that's the whole thing. Like they'll start every tweet with "as a black American" or some shit. Yeah, so they're probably doing it for Ukrainians too.
Not for black people. They pretend to be Ukrainian. Obviously, the bots are getting super sophisticated. At first, I actually was like looking into like the evolution here, because at first it would be like Russian. They would speak in Russian, and then they would start like replying to comments. Then they would start engaging with conversations, and then they would start just speaking Ukrainian, and their names and everything and Ukrainian flags. They all in the profiles and everything. It just gets more and more sophisticated. There has to be some check. I'm speaking from the perspective of our country, of course, but because we have the infrastructure to implement something like a government verification system for your profile, basically. And we could potentially force social media companies, if they want to operate in Ukraine, to integrate with a system like that, specifically for our region. And do you think like it wouldn't work at all? Like if people would see that, okay, you are verified through a government app, that you are a real person, maybe even display a full name, because I feel like influencers would do that, and then people in the comments, you would just see I feel like you would see vast difference in how many comments you see under each post.
I understand what you're saying, but like you guys are missing the you're assuming that everybody is coming at this from the same perspective, right? Like one big issue, for instance, is the fact that nobody wants to hear this. Well, people on the right don't want to hear this, but the right spreads more misinformation and has more favorable like false narratives for them right now than the left. That means that necessarily any type of program or thing that you do to like try to combat this is going to disproportionately impact the right, and then they're going to cry about it. They're going to say, oh, we're being censored. Oh, we're being hit with misinformation. Oh, this is just fact-checking is just another name for fake liberal media bias. So what do you do then? Like you're fucked, It's like
in America, yeah, but in Ukraine it's different, obviously. So maybe it would work better for Ukraine right now, because we don't have the same kind of political situation in our country. There are definitely people who are on the right, but most of the people are kind of like centrist, because we have to align ourselves with the West, because the West currently is the only one who supports us. Even if it's drip feeding, it's better than zero,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Sure.
Okay, and I had another conversation, but it's probably maybe a discussion for later, because I took a lot of your guys' time already. But Destiny, you're hating on AI, and every fucking guy that was talking to you about AI is a fucking moron. They talk about some bullshit fucking shit like, oh, AI is smart, it can whatever. It is shitty for things that you try to use it for, but I feel like you're the person who will make it work, because it's you can provide information in a very like understandable way, and that's how you unironically have to use that tool, and you could benefit from it a lot. Right now, ChatGPT has a search function that actually searches articles and will give you a link. So I understand that you don't trust that shit. So maybe try that out. It's like a paid thing, but it's like $20.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Yeah, don't treat it like it's, you will figure it out, and it's actually good for coding. So anyway, thanks. It's been a pleasure. Maybe we'll talk some other time, guys.
Cool. Love you, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.